Hello and welcome to the candy wallpapered hallway of the dollhouse for another reading from what book might be we reading? If it ain't apparent, The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and Joost Elfers for July 16th, the day of the rising tide. Oh, that's right. And here we have us an illustration. What could it be? A sailboat. That's right. Let's go across the room with it. All right. High tide, right? The day of the rising tide. Hey, is it July 16th and it's your birthday today? Well, if it is, I just want to say happy birthday. And if you're finding this video long or shortly after your birthday has already come and gone, well, I hope you had a happy birthday. But for everyone else who's just joining us randomly, well, I just want to say hello, welcome, and I hope you enjoy yourself. So before we dive in, a little thing we like to do is roll the dice. This is the Diecast birthday cast, after all. And why might we be rolling the dice, you'd be asking yourself? For synchronicity's sake, that's right. And we rolled us a 4 and a 2. A 4 in the crown position and a 2 in the root. And what does that mean for you? Hey, whatever. For you metaphysical folks, well, you can apply your chakra colors and such. But for everyone else, hey, who's to say? Whatever you want to apply to it. So a 4 and a 2, 4 and 6. Now, what is synchronicity, you may be wondering? Well, real quick, if I can, it's just numbers to look out for. You know, the universe is always putting things on our path, but most of the time, at least I'm speaking for me, we don't even notice them. I'm sorry, I don't even notice them. And so the numbers, you know, if you have the right intentions and you're set on those numbers, well, you just look for them, and the universe is going to throw things in your path and just kind of give you little hints and clues to show you that you're there. I don't know, who's to say, maybe you're listening to your favorite radio station, you're Nothing But Rock, K101 FM or whatever. What do we got here? 86.4, right? And then it comes on there like, hey, we got some random special tickets for you coming in live. The fourth caller in the next 2 minutes, right? 4 and 2. And you're like, well, hey, that's the number, right? So you call in, and you're like, I wonder who this special band could be. And hey, you're the fourth caller. Oh, shoot. And you just scored you 2 tickets to Nothing But Rock, special tickets. Anyway, who was it for? Well, Simple Minds, right? Some new tickets for Simple Minds. You're like, didn't they only have 1 hit? No, sir, they did not. They had many. So go listen to your new favorite band, Simple Minds. It will be, let me tell you. Anyway, let's dive in for sure, all right? Enough Simple Minds talk. It's my birthday, or your birthday, rather. I'm putting words in your mouth. Hey, let's dive in, shall we? Your month is July, your day is the 16th, and your sign is 22 to 25 degrees Cancer, of the Cancer 3 period specifically. That's right. And your quality and element is Cardinal water. July 16th, the day of the rising tide. Those born on July 16th are seized by romantic impulses again and again. Impulses to do with love, adventure, fantastic happenings, and unusual people. Those born on this day strive to bring excitement into their lives and are generally frustrated with the humdrum nature of mundane existence. It is the passionate energy they give to their projects which sets them off from others. Idealists at heart, they must believe in what they do, and their work often takes on aspects of a crusade. Yet there is another side to these romantics, and that is their highly developed mental powers. See, many born on this day see themselves as logical creatures and believe in the power of mind over matter. What they say and what they do, however, may be 2 different things. If one were to read the content of their remarks, one would recognize logic. But in fact, when one listens to how they communicate, it is the language of emotion that comes across. Indeed, their mode of expression can resemble a sermon when they try to convince others of what, to them, is sound, practical, and makes sense. Conflicts often arise for July 16 people between their reasoning and emotional natures. For example, they may be disturbed by their passions and adopt a rigid discipline in order to regulate their energies. Unfortunately, this too often results in stilted behavior, which produces frustration and distances those born on this day from others. All the while the kettle is standing on the boil. And many July 16 people cannot avoid proselytizing, whatever that word is, using their curious blend of logic and passion to convert others to their side. They must beware of intruding on or being insensitive to established beliefs or depriving others of the opportunity to learn for themselves through personal study and expression. Or experience, rather, through personal study and experience. Conventional people born on July 16th may work quite ordinary jobs and lead what appear to be uneventful lives. But if one looks at the books they read, the films they love to watch, their favorite TV programs, a clue to their fantasy life may be found. And somehow their wish to be swept away, to sweep others away, must be expressed. And it is the feeling of being swept off one's feet that makes life really worthwhile to them. Falling in love may have damaging effects on July 16 people, either because of its depth or its frequency. Whatever the case, it is quite impossible to tear July 16 people away from their love object, no matter how hopeless their chances of capturing it are. Barriers, difficulties of all sorts, frustrations, these are simply essential components to romance for them. Convinced of their illusions, they proceed on their way no matter what. If the love object is not a person, but a place, a thing, or a type of experience, well, it can retain its power forever, if never possessed, and if never realized. In this respect, July 16 people prefer having their cake to eating it, and their dreams can become an excellent substitute for effective action. Oh, wow, that one was loaded, wasn't it? We'll see what I got down here in the notes, because I had some comments on it. Romantic impulses for love, adventure, and fantastic happenings. And I suppose that might explain the sailboat illustration that leads us off here, right? I get that adventure, right? That rising tide. And I must say, striving to bring excitement into one's life, at least to me, sounds great. All right, but I don't have too much of an issue with the humdrum myself, as long as I can find something interesting to do with my time. As mundane existence goes, though, that sounds horrible. But I suppose it's all subjective, right? What's mundane to one person isn't to another. You know, it would probably explain why there's at least one person who likes data entry, for example, right? So let's see here. There's also but on the other side of the coin, constantly changing adventure seems a little excessive to me, or chasing adventure rather. And sounds like somebody's trying to fill a little void there, doesn't it? Right? As though they're trying to keep something off their mind, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's just me projecting on you. But I have, if you have a highly developed mental process or powers, perhaps I'm completely off the mark. And you just possess a mindset and a passion that's completely foreign to me. Let's see, like how someone can get off on data entry. There's always one, right? I can't say I like being sermonized to myself. The reading did mention you like to get up on the pulpit and sermonize. See, that kind of confidence, well, it usually carries with it an energy that the sermonizer has everything figured out, right? But as conveyed in the reading, it runs the risk of intrusion and prevents others from figuring things out for themselves or turning them off to what's being preached. So you got to be careful of that. You got to be careful. And the damage love can cause certainly sounds tragic. And if I got anything from the read, it was to question my own philosophical ideas of idealism and to say my own perception of how things are perceived are carried over to everyone else's. And I don't know if I could be fulfilled with just having my cake/dream, which is interesting too, as I would assume not going after your dreams doesn't really apply to someone who's really hard for adventure, right? Hard for adventure. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. Applies to the adventure seeker. I just can't believe them only thinking about the dream would apply to that. So let's get back to the read with your numbers and your planets. Those born on the 16th of the month are ruled by the number 7, as 1 plus 6 equals 7, and by the planet Neptune. Those ruled by the number 7 do not always carry through their ideas and can get out of touch with reality easily. Emphasized for July 16 people by their influence of the moon, Cancer's ruler. Neptune is the planet of dreams, fantasies, and also of religious feeling. And since those born on July 16th already have tendencies in this direction, they must be especially careful not to go over the edge psychologically. And those ruled by the number 7 can sometimes throw caution to the winds where money is concerned and leave their families financially embarrassed. A good accountant or bookkeeper is thus invaluable to July 16 people. Do you throw money to the winds? Let's see what I wrote here for your numbers and your planets. Let's see here. The dream whatsoever would apply to an adventure seeker. Yeah, I think I wrote that. Again, I'm surprised at the prospect you don't always follow through on your ideas. I mean, who does, right? But I'd think that the passionate adventure seeker would be all over their ideas and their projects. But perhaps dreaming is more the through line or the theme here instead of the rising tide of the sailboats. I'm also probably too fixated on the sailboat illustration. And that must be you got to be mindful of those dreams, right? You got finances and your psychological edge to be especially mindful of, apparently. Yeah, I just like I was trying to say, I think I might be focused on the sailboat aspect of this thing a little bit too much. But hey, let's get back to the read for your tarot, one of the more eclectic of the metaphysical studies and practices. But it's fun and it's interesting, so let's read it. The 16th card of the major arcana is the Tower, which in one version of the tarot deck shows both the king falling from a lightning-struck tower and the builder of this tower being killed by a blow to the head. A tower symbolizes the impermanence of not only physical structures, but also of relationships or vocations in our lives. The changes wrought can often be sudden and swift, and the positive elements of this card include overcoming catastrophe and confronting challenges. However, the tower cautions against rising unjustifiably high, risking destruction at the hands of one's own invention, and, particularly true for July 16 people, succumbing to the lure of fanciful enterprises. Ooh, do you succumb to the lure of fanciful enterprises? Let's see what I wrote for the Toro here. The tarot rather. Don't rise unjustifiably high, right? Especially at the hands of your own invention. So adventure seekers, stick to the sails versus weaving your own, say, basket for a hot air balloon, right? You don't want to rise too unjustifiably high. Now that's what I got from that. Trust the illustration. Stick to the sailing. Don't be getting in no hot air balloon baskets there. Especially if you weaved them yourself. Okay, let's move on to your health. The principal danger to the health of July 16 people is their sometimes passionate belief that they can overcome any physical difficulty through the strength of mind. They must learn that certain serious disorders demand the intervention of a physician, surgeon, healer, or chiropractic consultant. Admittedly, positive thinking does do wonders for them, and the tendency of those born on this day to stress prevention and a structured yet individual approach to diet and exercise is largely to be commended. Oh, yes, sir, that's right. The old health there. Let's see what I wrote for your health. You can't overcome everything with the power of your mind, no matter how hard you try. And I wrote silly. Or with Christ if you're a Christian Scientist. That's right. You gotta get your shots and such. Anyway, there is never a bad time for a good old-fashioned body wrecking by a chiropractor or a ham-fisted masseuse, provided you're not in traction, ostensibly from a fall from a basket you wove yourself that was attached to a hot air balloon. But that's a very isolated instance, yes? But like people who get off on data entry. All right, there's always one. That's right, there's always one. Don't you be getting up in no highs from, oh, I don't remember what it was, some kind of high pulpit there. Don't go in the crow's nest if you are dead set on sailing there, you adventure seeker. All right, what's next? Let's dive in with some advice. All right. Calm down. Allow your feelings an easy expression and don't repress them. Direct your passions in positive, non-intrusive ways and learn not to antagonize or turn others off. Don't use wishes as an excuse for inaction. Remain positive, but not overbearingly so. All right, that's some decent advice, I would say, and it applies to everyone, but I think they drill down on day of the rising tide for you. What did I write here for advice? Calm down. Jeez. I wrote, geez, I had no idea you was so excitable or agitated. I thought dreaming was the through line or sailing. So don't eat any deep fried foods before 10 or trim the jib, to stick with the sailing example here. Where my mind, as far as advice was concerned, I would stay away from data entry and hot air balloons, naturally. Oh yeah, sure, don't use wishes as an excuse for inaction. And don't antagonize with your sermons. That's right. Nobody wants to hear your sermons. You got to find a better way of correlating that information. Because nobody cares, right? They're already dead set in their opinion. Anyhow, that's what I wrote for your advice. So let's get in with your meditation. Your meditation. We are all swimming in the same bowl of soup. Oh, a little soup analogy for the sailor on the day of the rising tide. Hopefully there's some bits in that soup that float like a big old hollow noodle, so you can rest sometimes. That's right. Hopefully nothing cream-based like, say, a chowder. So go with you a minestrone or a Manhattan if you got to be with a chowder, which is basically minestrone. And that's right. If you know your soups, you get the joke. All right. Hey, let's dive in with your strengths and your weaknesses. You're faithful, you're passionate, and you're nurturing. Your weaknesses, you're repressed, unrealistic, and moralizing. Ooh, them sermons again. Gotta stay away from your sermons. All right. Hey, let's dive in with those born on this day so we know what company you're in, and maybe that'll provide a little bit more context for some of the information that they correlated through the book here. We got Mary Baker Eddy, who was a Christian Science founder, and she was a writer of Science and Health. We have Ginger Rogers, the Broadway dancer, and Fred Astaire's partner and film actress. We also have Reuben Blades, who was a Panamanian salsa singer, songwriter, band leader, and film actor. We also have Jean-Baptiste Camille Corot, spelled with a C-O-R-O-T, so I'm probably saying it wrong, Corot maybe, French landscape portrait painter. We also have Ronald Amundsen, a Norwegian explorer, the first man to reach the South Pole, ostensibly before a woman, but who's to say? It doesn't say here. We have Anita Bruckner, a British writer, Hotel de Loc. We have Bela Davidovich, was a Russian-American pianist. We have Pinchas Zuckerman, an Israeli-American violinist and a violist, as well as a conductor. We have Eugene Yasei, a Belgian violinist and teacher. Oh, there's two of them. Margaret Smith Court. She was an Australian tennis champion, Grand Slam, an 11-time Australian, 7-time U.S. Open, and 5-time French, 3-time Wimbledon winner. We have Barbara Stanwyck, a film actress. We have Carnidas, who's a New Academy School of Philosophy founder in Cyrene. We have Trygve Lie, perhaps, who's a Norwegian statesman, lawyer, UN Secretary General. We have Shoeless Joe Jackson of the Field Dreams fame there. Baseball outfielder, member of the infamous Black Sox team. He hit 300 or better 11 times. In his career, .356, he was banned from baseball for life. We have Barry Sanders, the football running back and Heisman Trophy winner, an all-time NCAA single-season rushing leader, win NFC Rookie of the Year and NFL Player of the Year. We have Giuseppe Castiglione, was an 18th century Italian painter at Chinese court, and he became proficient at Chinese art. Well, talk about someone who leaned into the mundane, right? At least it wasn't data entry. We also have Andrea del Sarto, Florentine Renaissance painter. We also have Jorge Castillo, who was a Spanish surrealist painter. We have Cal Tredadar, who's to say, a jazz vibraphonist, and Bess Meyerson, Miss America. Yeah, let's see what we got here to take us out. Your season is summer. Your sign, once again, is Cancer of the Cancer 3 period specifically. And your quality and element is Cardinal water, if you forgot. Also, your numbers, once again, be on the lookout for 4 and 2. 4, 6. If you're not really good with the maths there, like myself. I had to write it down in the notes so I could refer to it there. Event, this has been The Secret Language of Birthdays by Eric Goldschneider and Joost Elfers for July 16th, the day of the rising tide. I got an affiliate link for this book down in the description if you're looking for something to grace your coffee table and get the conversation started when you got that company over. I can't recommend it highly enough. Hey, I'm doing videos for it, obviously. All right, hey, folks. I just want to once again wish you a happy birthday if it was your birthday today. And for everybody else who just joined us randomly and made it to the end of the video, I hope you enjoyed yourself. And I hope to see you on your birthday. All right, you take care of yourselves, folks. And don't be getting in no trouble there with them humdrum jobs. No data entry, all right? Take care of yourself.